In Kumlan about Gemara, today's daf is daf Kuvov, and the last Gemaras we're learning about was all about the shindalids that were hanging around the Egyptian Amoraim's houses. And the last thing we looked about was that that mayim haroim, you shouldn't drink from the begin. You shouldn't drink from it. You should pour out a little bit. And it's actually brought down that Rebbe Shulchan Aruch in Chesed Mishpat in Hilch Shmiras Haguf. And that's what you do even today. Pour out a little bit of water. So you'll see some people pour out a little bit of water because maybe the Shadim Mazikim drank from it. And Tesis interestingly says, he asked, so why didn't just the Shadim do themselves? Why he waited till he had clear water? All he did was fill up a barrel of water and pour a little bit out. So Tesis, maybe one of the answers is that maybe it only works if you do it for yourself. No one else can do it for you, which then sounds very spiritual. Because if it's mazik, you might have to come in who takes the water away. So obviously there's something more going on over here. Okay, we're up to the Gemara here. 3 lines from the top. So we said the reason why you do my machreinim is because of melach's daimis. And that Shmuel said because today we don't have melach's daimis, you don't have to do my machreinim. And actually in the Gemara Bracha that says you do it because the kedashtim, but yisuf kedashtim is mayim d'sheinim, but yisuf kedashtim is mayim machreinim. Sounds like it's a mitzvah. Hikan likras alekecha Yisrael. It's a mitzvah. And but today we don't need such fatty things, and maybe use forks and knives and spoons and so on. So therefore, we don't really have the mitzvah to remove that zuhama. But there is a machlekes in the poskim if you make a bracha. You definitely don't make a bracha ma'im achronim if it's sakana. You don't never make a bracha for sakana. But what about making a bracha if it's a mitzvah? If you're doing it because you have zuma. So, and those poskim hold that if you're the one who's benching, because in those days one guy benched, everyone else listened and answered amen. But if you're the one who's benching, then it's a mitzvah to wash. You should make a bracha. Then there's a machlekes that show you what the bracha is. Is it al tilas yadayim or al rechitzas yadayim? Al rechitzas yadayim. Whether netilah yadayim, when the word natal means keli. Netilah yadayim is using a keli. But for my machreim, you don't necessarily have to use a keli to pour it over your hand. You don't need that. So what should the nuscha bracha be? There's machlekes are showing you. What about washing your hands between, let's say, we said between a cheese dish and a meat dish, you have to wash your hands. Is that a mitzvah? And if you should make a bracha? Now, those who say it's a mitzvah, why? Because the reason why you're washing your hands is to avoid doing an avera. And that became the source of an argument. Is there a mitzvah to avoid an avera? If it's a mitzvah to prevent you from doing an avera, then make a bracha. But if it's no mitzvah, you just make sure you didn't do an avera. It's not called a mitzvah. Maybe it's a siyag, but it's not a mitzvah. Why make a bracha? So interesting machlekes here. All these machlekes. But let's continue the Gemara. Now the Gemara gives a whole other story as to how it started. It's as if the Gemara is saying, yeah, this is what triggered the whole thing. But then once we triggered it, we said, so what's the basis? Because Mel's Daim is all these things. Look at the Gemara says here. He also Avdimi, but Avdimi came to Yisrael. Amar, he came first. He said, he came first, and he told us that's this Gemara here. Somebody didn't wash Mayim Adashainim. They gave him chazer. What happened was that the storekeeper decided he was selling kosher meat for Yidden and non-kosher meat for Goyim. We didn't ask them, are you Jewish or not Jewish? And he saw a guy not washing his hands for bread. He assumed the guy's a Goy, which he doesn't wash his hands. And therefore he gave him to eat chazer or nevela. And so we see that's why it's important to wash mayim adashainim. And achareinim, and the mayim achareinim is hoitzias ishim bebayla. When these people lent money to this person, the person said, I don't have any money or whatever it is. So they saw that he ate something stuck between his fingers. They went and told his wife, or stuck his finger, or others say it was in his mustache. And he told his wife that, your husband said, give it back to us. And Baharaya, he ate this morning peas or whatever he ate for breakfast. She gave it to him. When he came home, she told him, listen, I did what exactly you told me. I'm very proud of myself. He got so angry, he divorced her. Kiasa Ravin came along. He said the same thing, but his version of the story is much worse. He actually killed her. Kiasa Ravin came along. As a result of that, he actually killed his wife. Now, what's the Gemara actually trying to tell you here? Is the Gemara trying to say this is the basis for it, or is this time telling you a story? To remember who said what. Remember, one was Ravdimi, he had one version, then came along Ravin. Also Ravdimi, Afka, also Ravin, Kotla, doesn't make if he killed her, he couldn't give a divorce afterwards. So obviously, the first you have the version that he gave a divorce, and then afterwards that he killed her as well. Not the other way around, because once he killed her, it's very hard to give a divorce. How do you know which whoever came first from Eretz Yisrael was the one who Yeah, so Gemara, Rababa Masli Choda, Mahani B'Choda, Mahani L'Chumra. Rav Asni learned, he said that the first one is because of Basar Chazer, like Rav Dimi, but the second one, he said, you can kill somebody because of this, so be very careful. Because Basar Chazer is stricter than the Veila. Because the first version is that the first version was that it gave Chazer teeth, the second version was that it gave Nevela teeth. So the first version is stricter when it came to Mayim Rishonim. When it came to Mayim Achrein, the second version is stricter. Okay, just one thing, interesting thing, it's not brought down here, but the Shach in Yeridea, Huf, Ayin, Tes, is the whole union of Machlekes, whether a Jew has to wear Jewish clothes. Do you have to be able to tell a Yid is walking down the street wearing Jewish clothes? And from this story over here, they want to bring it out that you don't have to. What do you mean? You waited to see them wash their hands? Look at the guy. He looks like a Yid. You know he's a Yid. If he's not dressed like a Yid, then he's obviously a guy. Why wait till Shadayim? The Shach, however, says that no, this Rashi comes from a Medrash, and the Medrash over there tells us more to the story. It was Gzeis Shmad. So therefore, that's why the guy was, secretly giving kosher food, and he never asked anybody because embarrassed because it was Gzeis Shmad. So he would watch closely. If you're washing your hands, it doesn't make you eat. Itma, we learned. What about water that's hot? From yesterday, we learned two versions of the Gemara. Whether hot water can be used for the one version of Gemara is you can only use warm water for the Til Shadayim. The second version was for the Til Shadayim, even hot water, just for my Machayim, we shouldn't. So the Gemara says here, eat when we learn. Chamiur, Chizki says, we shouldn't wash your hands. The Machlekes Rashi says Chamiur means boiling hot, or means, not so boiling hot, warm. That you could wash your hands. Amar Rav Chanina said, "Shalti Gamliel ben Rebbe. Once Rabbi Son, v'oichel taras. He was a guy who always ate taras. Normally, he said to me, "Kol gdoili galil ois and kain." They all did that. They all used the hot water. Says the Gemara. What about hot water from Tveria? I mean, it's always hot. That was once cold and became hot. They never had a shasa kosher. Chizkiah, Rashi says that Tana ain't no you shouldn't wash your hands because of hot water. So Rashi says that Chizkiah argues in the Gemara before. Taisa says not arguing. He holds like the first day that says that you shouldn't use hot water for the Shadayim, only warm. And Amabil ben Yadayim, you're allowed to be toivel your hands in the Chamet Tveria. And Rabbi Yechon says Kol Guf toivel ben, you can toivel your goof. Have a light pond of yodav and aglav. You shouldn't use it for the Til Shadayim because it's boiling hot water. You shouldn't also. You're not even toiveling. You can't use it at all. Ask him when I ask the question, does it make sense? Which is the bigger requirement? Tefillah Kol Gufay. How can it be that Tefillah Kol Gufay Chamet Tveria is good enough? Washing your hands and face, that you can be. Ask if we must ask question. Kol Gufay Tevil Ben Pod V'Ragla Koshkin Amar Papa Ben Mekayman. If the mikveh is if it's mamish like a mikveh and it's attached to the ground, of course you can wash your hands there. If you can tell your whole goof, surely you can wash your hands. Mishkal b'nayim money took water out from there since it's hot water. It's always also. You digress the water. The water. Sorry, went to you diverted the water away from the source, but it's still in the ground. And the question is, are we going to be guys if we allow you to use that water? Next time you're going to use hot water stam. You can have, if you take hot water and put it in a keli, that we're only allowed to be toivel. Once you put it in a keli, you're not allowed to use hot water. So and Tveya's words had never shasa kosher. So one person's geyser. Masav legazin not geyser. In fact, Tanoi. This is the Machlei Tanoim. Mayim shenifshel mishtimas behemoth. The rule is that to use water for the Til Shadayim, it has to be water that can be edible, can be drunk by an animal. Water that is so pungent that even putrid that an animal wouldn't even drink from it is my shenifshel mishtimas behemoth bekelim. If you use a keli to wash your hands with the apostle, but bekarka kshedim. If it's in the ground, like a mikveh, it's kosher. And if Shimon loves it, I mean, at bekarka, even bekarka, you could do this, teva kol gufa. You can immerse yourself. So when I ask the same question, to kol gufa toivel ben, which is a much greater requirement, yodav and aglav kolshkein. And Allah must be that there's some point missing here. We're not talking about the mikveh itself, we're talking about a diversion. Allah the paskinu bebasbirta, you divert it to the side of hopligi. Masav agazin basbirta, otomana. One of them holds the argeiser. Masav agazin argeiser. Why are you washing your hands for chulin? You know why you wash your hands for chulin? Because if you're a kohen, you have to make sure that your hands are Yadayim Askon, he's saying Yadayim are always considered tummy, at least a sheni, and by Truma we go from a sheni to a shlishi. By chulin it ends by a sheni, doesn't go any further, but by Truma. So even though we're Yisraelim, but it became a uniform rule that everybody has to wash their hands because of koinim oichet truma. V'oid mishum mitzvah. What do you mean, my mitzvah? What do you mean, also because of mitzvah? What's this mitzvah? You have to hear what the Chum say. Rabbi says, mitzvah l'shmoy mitzvah. That is the mitzvah. If the Chum say you should wash your hands, so therefore Rabbi says, no. Mitzvah l'shmoy, it's a mitzvah to hear, divi Rabbi Lezer ben Arach, to hear the words of Arach. As if to say, Rashi says, as if to say it's a mitzvah in the Torah to wash your hands before bread. What's this Rabbi Zerach? You see, it says in the pasuk that anyone that touches chol asher yiga b'zov, anything that touches, and then it says v'yodav l'shotav mayim, and he didn't wash his hands. Omer Rabbi Lezer ben Rabbi Lezer said, "Mekan from here you learn out samchu chachamim l'til shadayim atayr." It's only a smachta. It's not me my Torah. It's smachta. How do you see it? Omer Rabbi Nachman my mashma. How do you see? It says that anything that touched the zav and he didn't wash his hands, we see washing hands for bread. So it sounds like Hoshotov if he just washed his hands tired. A Zov, it's all he has to do is push his hands in the mikvah. Zov has to go to the mikvah properly. So what do you mean Yodel Shotamayim? Hotzvula boy. This is what it means. Anybody else, anybody else. No, the Zav has to go to mikvah. And anyone else who didn't wash his hands is Tamei. So that's, but it's only in a smachta. But when it comes to washing your hands with paydas, the only do is for cleanliness, hygiene, nothing to do with mitzvah. Now, why not? So the pasuk going to say the reason why not is truma is mahat Torah, and the koyin if he has yadayim are sheni, so therefore he has to make sure his Torah, so he has to wash the hands. But truma's paydas and truma's yedek, the truma paydas, truma vegetables only midrabanan, and because only midrabanan, we're not going to make a whole gzeda. Best to wash your hands because the whole thing is like a gzeda, double compounding zeta. So the question is, the Rambam who holds the difference between truma vegetables and truma fruits. The Rambam holds truma's paydas is actually mahatoida. If the Rambam holds truma's paydas is mahatoida, why taka don't you have to wash the paydas? Why don't you have to wash the paydas? So here you're saying that you could do it for hygiene, but not because it's a mitzvah like washing for bread. So the word is, the Prima God and others say is, the word is because paydas is only adai. When do we make a takana? You sit down for a meal. So you know what? Everybody has to wash. Fruits you only eat, when casually. And therefore, we're not going to make a whole gzeda. The whole thing is gzeda anyway. So even though it's mahatoida that you have to be clean when you eat paydas for a koyin, we're not going to make gzeda on all klal, the entire klal Yisrael for something that's adai, casual. Okay, so this opinion holds you're allowed to wash hands of paydas for hygiene. So maybe there's a mitzvah. Maybe there's you don't have to. He's just saying in the case hygiene. Yeah, you want to wash. However, please Nachman, because Nachman says hanoitul yod of lepedis ein el megasi ruach. This is like mechzikiyah. You look like a big shot. You're arrogant, hubris. You're doing all the mitzvahs in the Torah and all the mitzvahs in the Rabbana that you're taking on chumras. That is an unbelievable chumrah. I was once time for Rabami with Rabasi. I used to come I called the paper, a basket of fruits. They ate. I saw they didn't wash the hand. Number one. Number two, midi. They didn't want to make a mezuzah and give me anything to eat, so I can be number three. Each one made their own benching. I learned from here 3 dinim just from their behavior. Number one, they didn't wash their hands. Not so even for hygiene. No, but you shouldn't. Not only you don't have to, you shouldn't wash because otherwise it looks like you're a balgaiva. You don't have a mezuzah where one person benches and everyone else listens. You don't mezam paydas because that's double choshev. And shmamina, and also paydas doesn't combine everybody together as one unit. And shmamina shnayim she'achlu mitzvah lechalik. You could have made a bracha and be moitzimi as just be moitzi because you cannot be moitzi bracha than anyone. But if you're making the bracha because you're chayiv, then you could be moitzimi. But it's better to be separate. Even though we sometimes say b'rovaham hadas melech where you can. But if you can, then better each one makes their own thing. It's actually a machlekes where you could do b'rav hamat melech. It is Friday night at home. Is it better everyone makes their own kiddush, or is it better one person makes kiddush and everybody listens? The Mishnah Berurah Paskins is better for one person to make kiddush. In the literature world, that's how to do it. And everybody's yaitza, and we all make our own kiddush. So it's a big machlekes. So we're going to measure gimel and shulchan aruch. What's better? Mitzvah boy yaitza b'shlucha. Each one should do their own mitzvah, or b'rav am hadras melech. Anyway, but where you can't do mezuzah mitzvah l'chalik. But better, I'm waiting to show name seifer. They can make a bracha themselves. I will echad seifer ve'echabur. If one's a talmid chacham and one is an amaretz, then definitely seifer mevarich habur. When do we say that you can be mighty to somebody else only if they cannot make it for themselves? So what do you have to wash? Big machlek to show how to learn pshat in the Gemara. Here we're going to go on. the tila should die for chulin is ad hapedic. When you say that you have to wash your hands, for chulin you wash your hands only till the joint. In your fingers you have two joints, right? You have two joints over here, one and two, until you get to your knuckles. But your thumb only has one, and we want all your fingers to be the same. So ad hapedic must be the second joint, which is equal to the first joint here. Because if you do the first joint, you don't have that here. So you don't have a first joint by the thumb. So therefore, it's a second joint. Sorry? Okay, but true. But look how the distance. The first joint is like mamish by the nail, and it's like in midpoint. The two should have gewoon ad hapedig, letrume ad hapedig. Why only till here? Because the whole idea is srach truma. Srach truma is you used to eat with your hands. Remember, when we were in the dorm, we had a whole discussion. The two amoraim, what's better to eat with your hands or with a fork? So the what do you call it? Srach truma is you eat with your hands, and therefore you might become tamid, and your hand might be tamid, but you only this part of your fingers are in the food, not the rest. So therefore, you have to wash it till the second joint. What do you call it? Kiddush Yadayim Raglayim, but in the base of meat, the Kiddush Yadayim Raglayim is ad hapedek until the pedek. And there means until the wrist. By Kiddush Yadayim Raglayim, till the wrist. Now, with washing your hands, it also says pedek. So there's been a place of training when we say washing your hands. Sorry, I skipped the line. Whatever is a chatzitza intercepts the water, doesn't obstructs the water from touching your body, is also considered chatzitza when it comes to washing hands. Be careful that there's no chatzitza and your hands are clean and everything else. But Kiddush Yadayim Raglayim b'mikdash Amar Rav Atkan. So yeah, and anything which is a chatzitza for mikvah is a chatzitza for washing hands in the mikdash and even for chulin. Omar Rabbi says, Rabbi Atkan l'chulin. He demonstrated on his hand till the way we learned before. That's what he did. He demonstrated on his hand until here. So it goes like this: chulin is till the second. This is how Rashi learns. Chulin is still here. When it comes to truma, it's till the knuckles. And when it comes to mikdash, it's still the wrist. So there's a machlekes when it comes to washing your hands, big machlekes when it comes to washing your hands, because we do the srach truma. So Rashi says till here, till the knuckles. Others learn it's till the wrist. So in Shulchan Aruch actually pasal halach is till the knuckles. But it says you should be machmir and do it until the wrist. Might as well do things. Because this shows, like we said before, mitzvah l'shmoya divrei chachamim. You don't ask any questions. The Rebbe Marash once said, "What's the true test of a Chabad chassid?" Amazing thing he said. What's the true test about chassid? We wash our hands 3 times. There's no mucker for washing 3 times. It's supposed to be 2 times. As we're having more brachas, 7 pedigree. 2 times. We wash 3 times. Why? Because the Rebbein said so. There's no basis for it, and that's, he says, the Evan Aboichin, who is a Lubavitcher chassid, or who's a chassid, mitzvah l'shmoya, because we find this expression dafka here, mitzvah l'shmoya divrei chacham. Okay, continue. Shmuel says, Shmuel says that the chulin and truma are the same. But he says, what way? That means even chulin we go to the knuckle. If Rav Sheish Amar, I agree with you that chulin and truma are the same, but the lenient one until the middle joint. Even by truma, the middle joint is enough. Adkan bein l'chulin bein truma l'kula. But Behedya once said, he said that that chulin and truma are the same din. That means you go to your knuckle. Like Tamer Rab Ami, don't say Rab Ami is machman b'shum the koinu. He had a vested interest. He was a kohen, and he eats trumataka, so he wanted to be more careful. So therefore, he was machman even by chulin. Because we're talking about Klal Yisrael there. We're not kohenim. The Rav Maisha Bar Brei Rav Shmuel Levi. Rav Maisha was the son of Shmuel Levi, and we know that Shmuel Levi was a Levi who levaya. But he said the same thing. Ad kam melchum truma lechumra. Now it says that the Levim one day will become kohenim. So maybe he was preparing Mashiach will come. He believed Mashiach will come every day. But we're saying, nevertheless, it's uniform for everybody. Amar Rav says, "Noitel adam eshtei yadav shachris." A person can wash his hands in the morning. Umasna len kolayim kuli. Because those days it seemed there was shortages of water. You didn't have sinks and taps and everything else, so you can wash your hands in the morning and just be mindful of your hand. Make sure you don't touch anything tummy, and you can eat bread the whole day. can eat bread the whole day.
Keep eating a bit.
No, not else benching. As long as actually says, as long as you make sure you don't get dirty and they don't become tummy. Abavina said to Pakos of the Arbus, Abavina said to the people of Pakos of Arbus in a certain plateau over there, and that very little water. And you have no water. You have no water. Wash your hands in the morning, and you can then have a mind the entire day. Just be careful. Ikadamri, those who say b'shas chakin, this only applies in a time when, like these people that had no water. Or b'shlei b'shas chakin, if you do have water, just for convenience, that's not an excuse. You have to wash because it's very hard to be mindful all day. Upliga the Rav, and therefore it argues with the Rav because Rav didn't make any exceptions. He said everybody can wash in the morning and have a mind. So the Rav Avina is arguing because he told them at you the is he saying that's the only reason why you're allowed to do that? And therefore he's arguing with Rav, or the behind the Rav, and he's agreeing with Rav. He's just telling him Metzias. He's saying, look, I'm going to give you some advice. Wash in the morning, and you can eat bread the whole day. But really, even if you have water, if you want to do this, of course you can do this. I'm just giving you an idea, and he agrees with Rav. Okay, we'll stop over here, and that's the halacha, by the way. If you can be careful, you don't have to wash again. Okay, have a good Shabbos. We'll learn at 7:30 Mitzvah Shabbos, and Sunday we'll do 2 block.
Story at the beginning.